How's it going, everybody? This is Cameron White with White Light Astrology, giving you guys your full moon horoscope for Libra. How is it going, my Libras? I love Libras. Now, you guys have been definitely going through some stuff with this Venus retrograde since you guys are just so Venus ruled. However, this full moon is happening on Wednesday, October 24th at about noon exact. This full moon is happening in your 8th house. And this is when it gets really interesting. This full moon is highlighting Venus. The moon's going to be in Taurus, a Venus-ruled sign. Your guys' rising sign or sun, whatever you're watching this from, is a Venus-ruled sign as well, Libra. So it kind of comes back down to Venus for you guys. Now, before we get into Venus, let's talk about this full moon happening in the 8th house. Uranus has been in Taurus now for a couple months, so you guys have gotten a good taste of what Uranus in your 8th house is like. You know, the 8th house is a modern perspective, death, sex, rebirth, transformation. The 8th house also is the second away from the 7th. So it's what other people have. It's, that's why it's like inheritances and, what your partner's income looks like and stuff like that. Now, with Uranus going through your 8th house, this whole area of, change, of, emotionally, kind of regurgitation is a good word, I guess, to say. As Uranus goes through here, it's wanting to liberate, it's wanting to excite, it's bringing things extremely up and down in this area. So when this full moon happens, the moon's going to enter Taurus and exactly conjunct Uranus. So as this moon is basically full at this point and it hits Uranus, you guys are going to really feel this need or this want to have this expression of change, have this expression of being able to get out of your comfort zone. The moon will then go at 1 degree Taurus and it will become full, where this is really just a big realization of where do you need to change. And it's not necessarily so much of a change as in a bad thing. Venus is retrograding in Scorpio in your 2nd house, so you guys have cut, the sun's also going to be in your 2nd house too. So a lot has to do with money, a lot has to do with other people's money and where all this money is kind of coming from and finances and things like that. But this big thing, the big thing with this full moon in Taurus is where do you need to get out of your comfort zone in order to create the changes that you want to see and have the material things that you want to have, or if your partner's going through something similarly. With this all happening in your 2nd and 8th house, this has a lot to do with what you have and what other people have. And this is a really big time to really utilize what you have, being more specific about what you have. It's kind of like, rather than having a do-it-all in one tool, have the specific tool for the specific project. That's going to be the biggest thing for you guys with this Venus retrograde. However, this full moon in Taurus is kind of like, okay, you have all these tools, who's here to help you? Who's here, what do other people have to help you? Or maybe you don't have that exact tool, so you need to ask someone else to, like, hey, can I borrow this tool? Or, whatever. It's a very simple analogy, but the biggest thing with this full moon is where do you guys need to get out of your comfort zone in order to ensure change, and ensure positive change at that. With Venus retrograding in your 2nd house, money, resources, things like that are totally, not necessarily up in the air as in crazy bad. It's just getting more and more specific, getting more and more narrowed down to a certain perspective. The other thing about this full moon is it's trining Saturn exactly. Venus is going to be sextiling Saturn with the sun. And Saturn's in your guys' 4th house, where we're talking about where you center yourself. We're talking about your home life, your family life. We're also talking about your parents right here in the 4th house. With Saturn being right here, where Saturn wants you to really get your shit together on where you're kind of living, where you're staying, finding a sense of centeredness. It really is about, if you want to get to the point where you are centered, where you are stable, where you have a concrete foundation, it comes back down to what tools do you have and how can you not only help other people with the tools that you have, but how can other people help you with your tools? It's kind of like, an emotional expression of getting out of your comfort zone, of realizing what capabilities that you have that you can share with other people, and what other people have to share to you to help you out with where you're going. And this full moon really is just about a realization of the resources that you have of yourself and what other people can have to offer. It is just going to challenge you to get out of your comfort zone and really realize the value of what you bring to the table. As Saturn goes through your 4th house, this all comes back down to, at the end of the day, this is about getting centered. At the end of the day, this is about creating a concrete foundation for you guys, which you guys are going to be going through for the next couple of years with Saturn and Capricorn. So with this full moon, guys, I mean, you guys are so Venus ruled. Venus and Scorpio is already at the top of the list for you guys. Keep working on your money. Keep working on, getting, Venus and Scorpio kind of be like purging the things out that you don't need. That it's kind of like I said, you could have all of these tools for this project, but you really only need one tool. Find that tool. Figure out what it is. And that's what I got for you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, and I will see you guys for your November horoscopes.